Welcome to Pulsanimous Poetry. I'm joined by my esteemed guest, Noah Ellis. Noah Ellis, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name's Noah Ellis, if you didn't know that already. And I am the guest today on, I don't know how to pronounce that poetry.
Pulsanimous Poetry.
Pulsinaminous poetry.
Close enough. All right, well, let's not dilly dally for too long now and just get into it. So,
Of course.
Noah Ellis, what do you think of when you hear El Dorado?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's a Mexican joint down the road from me. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, that's good to know.
It is.
Um,
It is.
that's good to know. Honestly, it kind of sounds like it.
I think it is. I could be wrong.
And for me, it's just like the city of gold.
Oh yeah.
Ever heard of that?
I have heard of that.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, I hadn't thought of that previously, but I do remember hearing about it, reading about it a few times.
Like the Dora movie. The Dora movie had it. I think that was the name of the
I
city.
did not watch the Dora movie, but I'm pretty sure Raiders of the Lost Ark is close enough.
Oh, okay, okay.
Or no,
Well,
Tomb Raider. Same thing.
I think I'm bringing up a poem for Pulsanimous Poetry called El Dorado by Edgar Allan Poe.
I love Edgar Allan Poe. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Not yet, not yet. Just gotta
Okay.
give
Okay.
you my reasoning for my choice here. You see,
Mhm. Mhm.
I plucked this particular poem from the trees of I don't know, the internet, because to me, after like I read through it first time, I felt like I could relate to this story quite well. You see, it's about a lifelong journey, and I'm currently on a lifelong journey where I'm in search of something I'm not sure of what it looks like, but I know I'm in search of it, like computer science, something like that, but not specifically. And that's just my little reasons. All right, now we can move on to the poem. Would you like to? Would you care to read this poem for me, Noah Ellis?
Just let me know what part I have to read and how much.
The whole
When.
thing, por favor.
Got it. Got it. Just on your mark.
Uh, go.
Go. Got it. Okay. Gaily bedight, a gallant knight, in sunshine and in shadow, had journeyed long, singing a song in search of El Dorado. But he grew old, this knight so bold, and o'er his heart a shadow fell as he found not spot of ground that looked like El Dorado. And as his strength failed him at last, he met a pilgrim's shadow. Shadow, said he, where can it be, this land of El Dorado? Over the mountains of the moon, down the valley of the shadow, ride boldly ride, the shade replied, if you seek El Dorado.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
10 out of 10. Okay, now let's just give you time for a little think here. All right, reflect on this these beautiful words by Edgar Allan Poe. Okay, you done thinking?
Yeah, I have done thinking. That was
Okay,
pretty
cool.
interesting. I
Well,
do like it.
yeah. It's a short but sweet poem. Now, let's just move on to like you know what this poem would be in normal words. Instead of like cryptic, gaily bedight a gallant knight. It sounds nice, but a bit hard to interpret.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah. So let's see. Well, for the first pair or stanza, guess you could say that it's just you see a knight.
Yeah, it's just describing the knight as his journey continues.
Yeah, look in search of El Dorado. The next stanza is just about him growing old.
Growing old and growing weak,
Yeah.
and his strength fails him at last.
Yep, that's the next one where he still cannot find El Dorado.
Yep,
And then he finds a shadow and he asks the shadow, "Where is the land of El Dorado?" And the shadow replies in the last stanza, "Over the moons of the over the mountains of
over
the
the
moon,
mountains of the moon.
down the valley of the shadow, ride,
Shadow,
boldly
ride,
ride,
boldly ride.
if you seek
You
for El
seek El
Dorado."
Dorado.
Now, what this means? Uh, let's figure that
That's
out.
the question.
Well, what take a stab at it. What do you think all this is supposed to
All
signify, sir?
right. It's meant to signify some form of journey, whether I'm not sure what that might have been in terms of Edgar Allan Poe. He often wrote about a lot of different things, uh, a lot of more negative tones, you know,
Well,
loss and sadness. But this one feels like the description of a journey that is futile in essence and a goal that won't be reached, perhaps.
well, you are absolutely on the money. You see, as you can see, this whole poem is just a big metaphor. The night and looking for El Dorado is a metaphor for a lifelong journey, where the knight can only reach that goal after he dies, which is like
Ah,
Edgar Allan
I figured
Poe's
as much.
like perspective on lifelong goals, where he thinks they're futile because you can't achieve them in your lifetime. And another thing we can peer into is an illusion in here, which is the Valley of Shadow.
Valley of Shadow.
You know, when you think of like the Valley of Shadow, you kind of think of death when you hear about that.
Right.
First thing that comes to
I know
mind.
the Valley of Shadow is a religious tone. It's referenced a lot as struggle or death.
Hmm. And lastly is another metaphor he used, which was the shadow. The
What
shadow,
does the shadow represent? Because I know in a lot of his poems, it's always the ravens. The raven, the raven, the raven. He uses ravens a lot. Could the shadow be similar to the raven, or do you think it's something else?
to me, the shadow is like a ghost because the ghost is
Oh,
dead. And if it's dead, it probably knows where El Dorado is because you have to be dead to know where El Dorado or to get to El Dorado.
I see what you're saying.
You can probably conclude that Edgar Allan Poe is probably like in this poem was just trying to give his point about how he feels about lifelong goals and that they're just futile to him.
That's definitely in character for him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we're hitting our limits here. It's time to wrap up our little session of pulsinanimous poetry.
Pulsinaminus. I got it now.
Yeah, don't think there's much left else to say other than don't set lifelong goals because they're futile, according to Edgar Allan Poe.
According to Edgar Allan Poe, but maybe he was just a loser who couldn't get anything done. That's
Yeah,
just me.
farewell, my amazing pulsinanimous listeners, and have a
Thanks for
great
having me on.
rest of your morning, noon, or evening, whatever time it is for you. And also thanks Noah Ellis for joining me.
Anytime.